The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus told his disciples this parable. A man going on a journey called in his servants and entrusted his possessions to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to a third 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. Immediately the one who received 5 talents went and traded with them and made another 5. Likewise, the one who received 2 made another 2. But the one who received 1 went off and dug a hole in the ground and buried his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came back and settled accounts with them. The one who'd received 5 talents came forward, bringing the additional 5. He said, "Master, you gave me 5 talents. See, I have made 5 more." His master said to him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy." Then the one who received 2 talents also came forward and said, "Master, you gave me 2 talents. See, I have made 2 more." His master said to him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy." Then the one who received 1 talent came forward and said, "Master, I knew you were a demanding person, harvesting where you did not plant, gathering where you did not scatter. So out of fear I went out and buried your talent in the ground. Here it is back." His master said to him in reply, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I did not plant and gather where I did not scatter? Should you not then have put my money in the bank so that I could have it back with interest on my return? Now then, take the talent from this one and give it to the one with 10. For to everyone who has, more will be given and he will grow rich. But from the one who is not, even what he has will be taken away. And throw this useless servant into the darkness outside, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
I also preached at the Mass last night after the football game. So it's really nice to see you still here this morning. One of my friends after the game said, mindful that it was Mission Sunday, he said, "Many are chilled, but few are frozen." There's clever people out there. Jesus did not teach in paragraphs. Mostly he taught in parables like this one. When we listen to a paragraph, we naturally seek out a topic sentence, a summary. Parables have no topic sentence. Instead, they're stories of a sort. And in the hands of a clever storyteller like Jesus, the details of the story have puzzling aspects. And those puzzling aspects come together so that the story imparts a particular insight or set of insights. Understanding parables, therefore, requires a certain kind of capacity to grasp what is puzzling in the parable. And that can be hard given the historical and cultural distance that separates us from Jesus himself. So, what in the parable of the talents that we just heard would have puzzled Jesus' hearers? Two things, I think. First, most overwhelmingly, the original set of gifts. A rich man heading on a journey gives talents to some of his slaves. And the word really is slaves, not just servants, slaves. A talent was not a skill like juggling. A talent was a sum of money, a huge sum of money, 1,000 gold pieces, 15 years of pay for a laborer. So the one heading out in the journey gives 5 talents, 2 talents, 1 talent. 1 talent weighed 70 or 80 pounds in a sack full of gold. 5, 350 pounds. Millions of dollars given to slaves. That would have struck Jesus' hearers as very strange behavior. The way the story unfolds, you'll remember the one who received 5 talents doubles his money. So does the one who receives 2 talents. And the one receiving 1 talent buries what has been given, this windfall. The receivers of 5 and 2 are praised for their enterprise. The one is rebuked who buried the treasure. Yet, it seems somewhat logical, doesn't it? If you were a slave given that amount of money, would you risk it? Might you not also instead be cautious, prudent? So then 2 strange things. First, the immensity of the gift to each of them, overwhelming amount of money. And second, the fact that the prudent one is rebuked. What a gospel for a mission appeal as we celebrate this weekend in the Basilica here at Notre Dame. Missionary work, after all, has traditionally been carried out by people who themselves, men and women, overwhelmed by the gift they've received in their faith and motivated by that sense that this gift is really valuable, they've gone far in risking too, to share that gift across oceans to diverse cultures, learning new languages. We're here because of missionary risks like that, here at Notre Dame. This university was founded by Holy Cross brothers and priests who themselves left France, their native home, to come here. In November 1842, they arrived here. Soon, Holy Cross sisters joined them. And Holy Cross women and men have gone lots of other places ever since. First to Canada, Haiti, India, Bangladesh, Uganda, Ghana, Mexico. Thus, Holy Cross has a college in northern Indiana called Notre Dame. You might have heard of it. We also have a college called Notre Dame in Dhaka, Bangladesh, a country of 120 million people the size of Wisconsin, the vast majority of them Muslims. We've been there in that school, that place, 150 years. Most of the students in that school are Muslim, some Hindus, a few Christians. At Notre Dame in Bangladesh, football is played only with the feet. It's always hot. The endowment is minuscule. Yet the impact of that school on that country is pretty remarkable. From there and from the Holy Cross Sisters School, not far from it, come the leaders of that country because they're the best schools in the country. And Holy Cross has other institutions, parishes, and schools. Another school nearby a lake. The lake is Lake Victoria, the southern part of Uganda in a town called Jinja. Holy Cross Lakeview looks down on Lake Victoria, the second largest lake in the world. Everywhere we have gone, we have sought to receive well the precious gift of faith, to recognize its overwhelming nature, and embraced the risk of sharing it. Notre Dame here, Notre Dame there. This school by the lake, that school by the lake. On a day like this, we of course acknowledge the tremendous heroism of so many who've gone so far to do so much. Yet mission is not the church's office of foreign affairs. God's mission in the world that we pursue takes many forms. and all of us are called to partake in it. How nice, therefore, to hear this weekend in the first reading about the industrious wife, praised for the way she runs her household, the way she is careful to raise her children, love her husband. It's a reminder that mission, which after all is the work of moving people from unbelief to belief, mission, defined like that, has been carried out by a lot of you here. For certainly the largest group of missionaries in the world, people who bring people from unbelief to belief, have been parents who've raised their children in faith. For Christians are not born, they are baptized and formed and raised. Thank you, parents, for the work you have done as missionaries for your children. On behalf of all of us who've been beneficiaries of that kind of work, we are most grateful. This parable of talents risked and thus expanded, of protected and lost, reminds us that the hardest work in mission is not traveling from your home, learning another language to preach to people you've never met. The hardest work of mission is often realizing the gifts we can give to the people closest to us, because we can imagine that the gifts we have aren't precious and overwhelming and worthy to be shared. The fact is, each of the three in the parable had received a windfall, a remarkable gift, and so too have we. The challenge is accepting it fully, so fully, in fact, that we don't imagine its giver to be stingy. And if the giver isn't stingy, and God is not stingy, we can share it freely, never burying it, never thinking we are too small, or too sinful, or too weak, or too untalented to share the mission of God in the world. The deepest goal of a mission appeal like this is not that you support our missions, like in Holy Cross around the world, with your contributions, though we certainly welcome them. The deepest goal is that each of us here will feel and will know that the mission of Holy Cross sisters and brothers and priests and lay colleagues in places like Notre Dame, Indiana, and Notre Dame, Dhaka, and Holy Cross congregation here and Holy Cross congregation in Uganda, that mission is one. It is God's mission, who sent us Jesus, who sends us the ongoing life of the Spirit, and invites us to step into that mission by which the world is redeemed. God still has many gifts to give us, and God has already given us gifts beyond measure, much more precious than gold or silver. You too have received them, as have I. Let's resist the fear and the indifference that imagines we do not have gifts to give, gifts of faith and witness, gifts to proclaim and to listen, gifts to act and to receive. God has a mission, and God's mission needs each of us.